Hey guys, welcome to one of the fastest growing sports YouTube channels out there, Gold and Blue Dude. And yep, another car video. I'm still in West Virginia, but don't worry, I'll be back in South Carolina sometime this evening, so I'll be back with another in-studio video tomorrow. And that's why I wasn't able to have a live show last night as well. There's one thing that I want to clear up. I've been telling everybody that West Virginia is going to the ACC, and people are trying to get these inside sources out of me. That's just not going to happen, so you might as well stop trying. One of their excuses is that the ACC turned down West Virginia in 2011. Why would they accept West Virginia now? See, that's a common misconception. The ACC did not turn down West Virginia in 2011. West Virginia had an offer from the ACC when they signed with the Big 12. And in fact, the Big 12 did turn down Louisville, and Louisville went to the ACC. I admit, West Virginia got greedy and went where the money was. The Big 12 was offering more money. That's what West Virginia took. So this isn't a case of what's changed since then. No, not at all. Really, the biggest question is, who is the ACC bringing in with West Virginia? Obviously, the best choice is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the better choice over West Virginia, to be honest with you. Notre Dame would have to choose the ACC if they chose a conference before 2036. So West Virginia and Notre Dame to the ACC make the most sense. But who else would they bring in with West Virginia? Well, they could bring in Oklahoma State. Not as big of a name as Notre Dame, but it would extend their footprint out in the Midwest. Oklahoma State does have a pretty decent brand, and I think it would be an interesting choice. They could bring in Cincinnati with West Virginia. Now, Cincinnati has already had their chance in the Big East, and they failed miserably, but could they get a second chance with the ACC? I think that's possible. Okay, what about UCF? I think UCF has some big-time potential. That's a risky move, but does the reward outweigh the risk? UCF does have the biggest on-campus student body, and they're right there near Disney. How would Florida State and Miami feel about it? And then there's those other Big 12 teams that could potentially go to the ACC if the ACC wanted them. Baylor or TCU, not very big names, but they do have some clout to them. What would they bring to the ACC? I'm not sure about that one. And remember, the ACC isn't the only conference in this newly formed alliance between the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the ACC that's thinking about expansion. The Pac-12 has come out and said they're thinking about expansion as well. So they're going to try to bring as many quality teams into the fold to compete against the SEC. So there's a lot of options out there, and my sources are telling me it's West Virginia and some other teams. That's what I'm hearing. I check with my sources every single day, and that was the most recent update. I checked with them this morning. They said West Virginia is still to the ACC with some other teams with an S. So that's the only thing that's changed since the last time I talked to them. Last time I talked to them, they said West Virginia and another team. Today, they said West Virginia and other teams. So I thought that was very interesting. That's why I decided to do a speculation video to see what other teams there could be. And the reason an announcement hasn't been made is because there are some other pieces that have to fall into place before an announcement can be made. Bob Bowlesby sent a cease and desist to the SEC from even talking about Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. West Virginia knows this, which means they're not going to come out with an announcement until the time is right. You're going to have to be patient. It is coming. I just don't know when. Let me clarify that. I just don't know when. So you can try every juvenile trick in the book to try to get the sources out of me. It's not going to happen, okay? So just have patience. It's going to come. I've already made videos on what kind of value West Virginia brings to the ACC. And it's the ACC in particular that West Virginia brings the most value to. They don't bring as much value to the Big Ten or the SEC. The ACC is where they bring the most value to, and that's why they're going to the ACC. Don't worry about it, West Virginia fans. The announcement is coming. I just don't know when, but as soon as I hear something, you better believe I'll make a video. And for whatever reason, my sources start saying something different, talks fell apart, something happened, it's not happening, trust me, I'll make a video on that. But they're not saying that. They're still saying West Virginia is going to the ACC. Leave some comments, tell me what you think. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.